What if I told you you could drive a brand new Tesla for less than your weekly coffee budget? Most people think owning a Tesla costs a fortune, but I found a way to bring my monthly payment down to just $78, legally, smartly, and sustainably. In this video, I'll break down exactly how I did it, and how you can too, even if you're not rich. When most people hear the words "I bought a Tesla," their minds immediately jump to one thing: the price tag. And yeah, on paper, it looks intense. Depending on the model, you're seeing numbers like $38,000, $45,000, maybe even more if you're looking at upgrades. That can sound totally out of reach for the average person, but here's the catch: that number is just the sticker price. It's not what you actually pay every month, and it definitely doesn't reflect the real cost of ownership. So today, I want to show you the part most people completely overlook, and how, by focusing on monthly ownership costs rather than upfront cost, I discovered that owning a Tesla might actually be cheaper than my old gas-powered car. Let's rewind. A few months ago, I was driving a mid-size SUV, reliable, decent mileage, but with gas prices pushing $4 a gallon in my area, I was spending close to $200 a month just filling up the tank. Then there were oil changes every few months, regular maintenance, and wear and tear. Not to mention, I was starting to feel like I was always one unexpected repair away from shelling out hundreds more. Now, enter the Tesla: no gas, no oil changes, almost zero regular maintenance, and the cool part: I could charge it overnight at home for a fraction of what I used to spend on fuel. On average, I was now spending about $25 a month on electricity to charge the Tesla. That's it. Right there, I was already saving about $150 a month just by switching to electric. Insurance, sure, it was a little higher, maybe $20, $30 more than my old car, but the fuel and maintenance savings more than made up for it. And when you start to layer in things like regenerative braking that extends the life of your brakes, or the fact that Teslas don't have timing belts, spark plugs, or mufflers to deal with all those little surprise expenses from owning a gas car, gone, completely gone, and that's not even considering depreciation. The resale value on Teslas is actually much stronger than average, meaning even 3 or 4 years down the road, you're not losing nearly as much money as you would with a traditional vehicle. That part really surprised me. Most cars lose 20%, 30% of their value in the first year alone. With Tesla, it's a totally different story. Now, let's talk numbers. So after I realized that the actual monthly cost of owning a Tesla was way less than I expected, I started diving into what really made this deal possible. And this is where most people leave money on the table. I'm talking about tax credits, rebates, and local incentives. These aren't just some government buzzwords. They're real cash-in, your pocket benefits that can drastically change the way you look at buying an electric vehicle. Let's start with the federal EV tax credit. At the time I purchased my Tesla, I was eligible for the full $7,500 federal credit. That's not a deduction, that's a credit. It reduces your total tax liability dollar for dollar. So if I owed $8,000 in taxes for the year, I now owed only $500. That's a serious financial boost, and the best part, it applies whether you pay upfront or finance the car. It's like getting a $7,500 discount just for going electric, but I didn't stop there. My state, and this will vary depending on where you live, offered an additional $2,000 rebate for EV buyers. And that wasn't a tax credit, that was a direct rebate, meaning I got a check, cold, hard cash in my account just for choosing an electric car. That brought my total benefit to $9,500, and it didn't require anything more than a simple application. Then I found out my local electric utility was also running an EV incentive program. They were offering a $500 bonus just for buying an eligible electric vehicle, and signing up for their off-peak charging plan. I literally filled out a 2-minute form on their website, uploaded my Tesla purchase paperwork, and within a few weeks, I had that money deposited as well. These utility programs change often, but they're out there, and most people have no idea they even exist. Now, when you start stacking all of that, the federal credit, the state rebate, and the local incentive, we're talking about over $10,000 taken off the real cost of the car. And that's before you even get into manufacturer discounts or dealer incentives, which sometimes pop up for certain Tesla trims or inventory vehicles. All of those incentives brought my actual loan amount way down, and lower financing means lower monthly payments. In fact, those savings were one of the biggest reasons I was able to keep my cost under control, because when you reduce the price, you're financing by thousands. Now here's where things get really interesting, because it wasn't just about incentives or saving on gas. What really made this whole thing work and brought my out-of-pocket cost down to $78 a month was how I approached the financing and how I thought about using the car as an income-generating asset instead of just a monthly liability. So let's break this down. I knew I didn't want to throw down a massive down payment. I wasn't trying to wipe out my savings just to look cool in a Tesla, but I also didn't want to walk into a dealership blind and get locked into a high-interest auto loan. So I took a bit of time, shopped around online, and qualified with a few credit unions and online lenders. What surprised me was that some of the credit unions had EV-specific loan programs with lower interest rates than traditional auto loans. I ended up securing a 1.99% rate, way better than what the dealership was offering, and that made a massive difference in how low my monthly payment would be. Instead of putting down a traditional 20%, I strategically put down just enough to keep my monthly payments manageable, not too much to hurt my liquidity, but enough to bring financing under control. Now, my loan was set at around $430 per month. Reasonable, but still a stretch for someone who's watching their budget carefully. But I wasn't done yet. This is where the passive income strategy came in. I'd been hearing about people renting their cars out on platforms like Turo, like Airbnb for your vehicle. At first, I was skeptical. I didn't want random strangers driving my new car. But after looking into the platform, reading reviews, and understanding how the insurance and vetting process worked, I realized it was a totally legit way to turn a liability into a money-making machine, so I gave it a shot. I listed the car with availability only on weekends and when I knew I wouldn't need it. The first month I made $280, the second month $370, and during peak travel season I even hit $500. That income didn't just cover my car payment, it helped with insurance, charging costs, and even a bit of extra profit. All I had to do was manage the calendar and keep the car clean. Suddenly, the $430 monthly loan payment was being paid down by other people, and all I was really covering out of pocket was the difference, about $78 per month. I had essentially turned the Tesla into a self-funding asset, and the best part, I was still driving it several days a week, enjoying all the perks of EV life while letting others help me pay it off without lifting more than a finger. So by now, you've seen how I dropped my monthly Tesla cost way down using smart financing, income generation, and tax incentives. But what really sealed the deal for me, what made me realize this wasn't just a flashy car purchase, but a smart financial move, was the long-term return on investment. I know that sounds weird when talking about a car, right? Most cars start losing value the second you drive off the lot. But with the Tesla, it was different. The more I crunched the numbers, the more it made sense, not just as a car, but as a financial strategy. Let's start with the basics. My old gas car was draining me every month with fuel, constant oil changes, brake replacements, and random maintenance that popped up like clockwork. When I totaled everything up, I was spending close to $200 $150 a month just keeping that thing running. With the Tesla, most of that disappears. There's no engine, no oil changes, and the brakes last way longer because of regenerative braking. Charging the car at home on off-peak hours means my electricity bill barely feels it, especially compared to $70, $80 weekly at the gas pump. That alone saves me more than $1,500 a year easily. And while that money stays in my wallet, the car itself doesn't lose value like others in its class. Teslas have an insanely strong resale market. They hold their value longer than almost any other vehicle, especially in the EV segment. That means a few years down the line, if I want to upgrade or trade in, I'm not walking away with a car that's worth half of what I paid. I'm walking away with real equity, something I can apply to my next vehicle or even sell outright and make back a chunk of what I invested. That kind of value retention changes everything, but it's not just the resale value. It's the fact that owning a Tesla today opens the door to other financial opportunities. I'm talking insurance discounts for eco-friendly vehicles, carpool lane access that saves me hours weekly, and even the potential to earn more if I ever decide to use it for Uber or Lyft part-time. Every feature, every benefit, every dollar saved compounds over time. And when you start thinking about your car like an asset, not a liability, that's when your mindset shifts. That's when you stop seeing a Tesla as a luxury and start recognizing it as a tool that can be leveraged for long-term financial stability, flexibility, and even freedom. So when you hear someone say, "I bought a Tesla for just $78 a month," it might sound like clickbait, but now you know it's not a gimmick. It's the result of understanding the real cost of ownership, leveraging every available incentive, thinking creatively with financing, and using your assets in smart, income-generating ways. I didn't need to be rich. I didn't win a lottery. I just took the time to do the math, look at the bigger picture, and treat this decision like an investment instead of an expense. Most people look at a Tesla and see a luxury car that's out of reach. But the truth is, with the right strategy, it can be a practical, affordable, and even profitable choice. I turned a dream purchase into a financial win, and more importantly, into a system that works for me month after month. The same approach could work for you too. If this video opened your eyes to new possibilities, whether it's driving the car you want or making smarter financial moves, drop a comment below and let me know what your dream setup looks like. And hey, if you want a full breakdown, calculator tools, or even a step-by-step guide on how to pull this off, hit that like button and subscribe, because I've got a lot more coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the smartest money move isn't about spending less, it's about spending smarter.